A breaking Fox News alert. The FBI has raided former President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. Feds were executing a search warrant. President Trump issued a statement on the raid saying this: "These are dark times for our nation, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided." Absolutely enrage the country, especially the Republican base, a base that is clearly behind the ex-president. You look at the CPAC straw poll dominating it. You look at the straw poll they did for the Turning Point event. He dominated it. He is clearly the front runner.
Jesse, it almost feels like a preemptive coup. We've heard so much about the insurrection and the coup, but this is meant to prevent Donald Trump from being able to run again. This is undermining our faith in not only the peaceful transfer of power, but in the executive arm of the government under an opposition party not to act like the Stasi, not to act like the secret police that we've seen in totalitarian regimes. This is crazy. I mean, everyone has to understand, they ordered a raid on former President Trump's home based on what?
Some breaking news here. The FBI just executed a search warrant on Donald Trump's home of Mar-a-Lago. The raid was confirmed when Trump himself released the following statement. Quote, "These are dark times for our nation as my beautiful home Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by the radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democrat National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. The political persecution of President Donald J. Trump has been going on for years, with the now fully debunked Russia scam, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, and so much more. It just never ends. It is political targeting at the highest level. Hillary Clinton was allowed to delete and acid wash 33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress. Absolutely nothing has happened to hold her accountable. She even took antique furniture and other items from the White House. I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people and truly delivered for our country like we have never seen before. The establishment hated it. Now, as they watched my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in all polls, they're trying to stop me and the Republican Party once more. The lawlessness, political persecution, and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people." Okay, right off the bat, I should probably note that in advance of the inevitable corrupt left-wing FBI takes that we're going to hear from Republicans, let's not forget that the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, took control of the FBI in August of 2017. Anyone remember who was president in August of 2017? So if you're wondering what left-wing socialist was responsible for Christopher Wray heading up the FBI, it was the guy whose house was just raided. So thank him. Now, a few notes here. Trump says nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. Yeah, does he want to guess what a president of the United States has never done before? When he issues these complaints, he does it as if these are happening independent of any causes, as if the FBI just woke up one day apropos of nothing and decided to raid Mar-a-Lago. For those suffering from convenient amnesia, Donald Trump incited an insurrection on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. The January 6th committee just held 8 hearings. They were some of the most watched events of the year. The witnesses were mostly Republicans. They proved Trump's culpability from the perspective of the Department of Justice, state legislatures, the vice president, elections workers, senior staff, his own attorney general, campaign officials, aides, and even his own action, or rather inaction, on that day. So when he says that nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before, that's probably because all of those other guys opted not to steal an election before. Pretty sure that's the correlation. He tries to claim that, quote, such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. The irony being, of course, that what he's looking for is to evade accountability for anointing himself the winner of an election that he lost. So which reads more third world to you? A wannabe tin pot dictator staging a coup to overturn an election that he lost? Or an independent Department of Justice seeking to hold that person accountable for his crimes? Take all the time you need with that one. And finally, I'm sorry, but it is so funny to me that Donald Trump is still, to this day, August 8th, 2022, trying to blame Hillary Clinton for all of his problems. The guy who was responsible for inciting an insurrection that nearly left Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi assassinated literally just released a statement trying to deflect attention away from himself by asserting that Hillary Clinton took antique furniture from the White House. I usually have very little patience for Trump's whataboutisms, but this one is so aggressively pathetic that I actually think it's worth drawing attention to. How could we possibly investigate Trump for the crime of the century when Hillary Clinton took a wooden chair? So look, this investigation will clearly continue to play out, but good on our law enforcement agencies for showing that no one is above the law. Good on them for not succumbing to Republican warnings about politicizing the FBI and the DOJ, considering the only thing that would actually politicize these institutions is refusing to seek accountability solely because Trump used to be president, as if that's some lifelong shield of invincibility. To his dismay, he doesn't have any more or any fewer rights than the rest of us, and he's learning that the hard way right now. Before you go, couple things. First, if you want to support my work, the best way is to subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. And second, if you want to see and hear more from me, check out my website, briantylercohen.com. That way you can get links to my podcast, merchandise, ways to donate to voting rights organizations, and so much more. The thumbnail is also right here on the screen, so go check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching.